Hey YouTube, it's your boy J Miles. Today, which is tonight, we're back on our video. Tonight we're gonna be doing some pinto beans for the first time, so here it is. Yeah, I got the pinto beans right here since one of my folks just brought them home, so why not try them though? Since normally I don't eat pinto beans like that, but I'm gonna give them a try though. And also just get sausage. I know it's open though, even though I'm gonna use it. Now, so here's the seasoning for the beans. Yeah, I got the Tony's Creole seasonings. I might use it. Well, I'm gonna use it, or I'm gonna use seasoned salt, just depends. So yeah, and some other seasonings. That's all. And I'm gonna keep it updated once I get the beans into the bowl. All right. Once you got the beans out and put them in the bowl, all we're gonna do now is just sort the beans out. I found some broken pieces, but take them out. Yeah, it's gonna take me a long time to get all these out. And I gotta do the same thing while the beans are soaking. Yeah, we do not want that on our beans though. Yeah, and that's how my grandma used to actually make them beans though. Yeah, just try your best though, No big them, because it doesn't have to be that perfect or anything. Just take them out the best you can of the broken pieces to the pinto beans, like so. And I'm gonna get the broken pieces of beans sorted out in a little while. Okay, excuse me. Okay, once you got your beans mostly sorted out, here it is. All sorted out, but not quite. Since I still put some water on it. That means I gotta soak the beans overnight. So yeah, all I need to do now is just pour some water in there. Yeah, that way so the beans will be soaking overnight though. Just gotta pour a little. Let's see, just a little half of it. And there you go. So yeah. Okay, once that's settled, all we're gonna do now just put this in the fridge. That means the beans gotta soak overnight before cooking though, Yeah. And I'm gonna catch you guys in the morning once the beans are done soaking overnight, which is tomorrow. Hey, I'm back. So it's the morning. So let's cook on the beans, and voila! You can pretty tell that they finally soaked overnight. Yeah, but like I said though, if you see any more broken pieces, since our beans were dry, since we gotta do the same thing by taking them out until there's no more. Yeah, but even though it can be challenging, even though gotta make our beans right though, gotta sort through it to make sure that we don't try to buy them, or else jack up your teeth. Yes, you do not want that. Heck no. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna keep on sorting the beans out until there's no more. Alright, once you got your beans sort out some more, a few more, check it out. I'll sort it out. And check out the rest of the beans that I sorted out. Just some of these beans are hard as a rock or something like that. Since and this is the reason why we're not gonna use them. Yeah, hope I'm doing this right though. Since I've been doing this since 3 years though, 2022, but now it's 2025. Yeah, but like I said though, I'm gonna cook the sausage. Just I cooked them up last night that way, so I want to film it over and over again. Okay, once you got your pot out, all we're gonna do now is just turn the heat on to medium heat. Once that's done, all we're gonna do now is just let this heat up before putting the sausage on. Okay. Once the pot is heating up, all we're gonna do now is just dump our sausage in. Since we gotta cook this. before putting the beans on, but I'm gonna scoop them out. As you want, the sausage is in there. Just cook it though, you know. Just cook it until it's perfectly done though. Well, not done though. Yeah, we're gonna put the lid on, which will help cook the sausage even more. Okay, the sausage is starting to cook for a few minutes. Once it's still cooking, all we're gonna do now is just, you know, yeah, I'm gonna clean this up after I get done with this. Just cook the sausage like this until it's, you know, done, you know. Put the lid back on and let the sausage do its thing on its own by cooking it a little more. Okay, once the sausage is already done cooked a little more, all I'm gonna do now is just scoop the sausage out, since you know, gotta use the grease from the sausage for, especially for the beans, since you know it's gonna give it a nice good flavor. Yeah, it's gonna soak up with all this flavor from the grease from the sausage. Yeah, I gotta scoop this up. And blow out. And there we go. That's how we do it. And there we go. That's how we do our sausages. Even though I'm gonna use them later on after the beans has been cooked for a few hours still. And I'm gonna get back to my pot where I can finally put the beans on. Okay, once it's still on, all we're gonna do now just pour the beans into the pot, like so, because you know I take them out. And I do this sometimes I like to leave it though, you know. Yeah, just like sit though, just cook the beans for a few minutes, then gotta add the water though. It means it's gonna, you know, yeah, it's gonna boil though, but I'm gonna let them cook for a few minutes. Okay, once the beans has been sauteing for a few minutes, all I'm gonna do now just pour our water in there. Yeah, better I might add another half in of water, since I'm gonna add too much water. There we go. Now that's enough water. Once that's done, all I'm gonna do now just turn the heat up a little more. Yeah, like so. And there we go. Just don't put the lid on. Just, you know, let the beans boil for about a couple minutes or something like that. Just depends. Yeah, I'm gonna let them boil in a little while once I show you. All right, once the beans has finally come up to a boil, yeah, check it out. But not quite, since you know I'm gonna let them boil for probably around a few minutes. Just depends though. Yeah, like I said though, got this in the bag though. Gotta stir them up. Yeah, you don't have to stir them up completely though. Just leave it the way it is. And also, once the beans has come up to a complete boil, all I'm gonna do now is just turn the heat down to low. Since you know my mom had taught me how to do it, or something like that. Because I mess up the beans or something like that. Because I didn't know what I was doing. This is not just let them boil until I was like, yep, I messed it up. Just, you know, cook them on a low heat right before boil. All right. Once the beans has been boiling for a few minutes or something like that, and all we're gonna do now just turn the heat down to low. Once that's done, just put the lid back on and let the beans, when you know, go low and slow until they're soft for a let's see, for about a few hours or something like that. Let's see, just depends. Yeah. All right, once the beans has been cooking on low for about 3 hours, so let's get started. Yeah, I can tell that the beans has finally gone nice and soft. And plus, you can tell that add a little more liquid. Liquid. Since you know, I decided to add a little bit of this chicken broth. That way, so it can be nice and thick. Even though you don't have to mash them or anything. So yeah, PS, it just perfect though. Well, I'm gonna mash. Some of them. Just on the blip side. And plus, you're supposed to mash your beans. While the rest is still cooking though. Well, I'm gonna give it a try. All right. Once you got some of the beans onto the bowl, all we're gonna do now is just mash them up like that, and there you go. Yeah, pretty nice and smooth, but not quite done. Since it's a little tender though. But even though I can make it soft though, yeah. Just keep on doing this until it's nice and soft though, like a mashed potato. All right, once the beans are nice and mashed up, and all we're gonna do now is just put them back in the pot where they're full of beans at, like that, yeah. And I'm gonna get back to the pot if I get a chance. Okay, once you get back to the pot, all you gotta do now is just put the mashed beans back to the pot and just stir it up like so. Since we know, gotta have a little thick, but even though we gotta turn the heat back up just a little. Since I'm not gonna cook it all the way up, I'm just gonna cook it a little though, yeah. So the beans will get, more soft though, yeah. All right. Once the beans are going on heat a little, you gotta turn this down since we don't want to overcook it. Okay, once that's done, all we're gonna do now just finally pour the sausage in. Once it's done, just stir the sausage up until it's all nice and good. Yeah. Just try your best to stir it up. And there you go. That's how you do it. And I can finally now add the seasoning. Okay, once you get done stirring up the sausage, all I'm gonna do now is just add some Tonys. You gotta add some Tonys. Okay, that's enough Tonys. What else? Here it is. Of course, some lemon pepper. Yeah, try my best not to add a little too much salt. Black pepper. Yeah, I'm trying to get my beans to taste really good though, And of course, some accent. Yeah, at the stop, drop the clip. See the clip. All we're gonna do now is just add some onion powder. And of course, some garlic powder. And last but not least is some cayenne pepper. Just give a little kick though. So don't try to add too much. Once it's done, just stir it up like that. And you're good to go. Yeah, there we go. Gotta stir that seasoning in, or else you're gonna leave a bland taste because no one wants to see taste of bland beans, you know? Yeah. Okay, once that's done, all we're gonna do now, just leave it on low for about 1 or 2 hours, just depends. Okay, scratch that. It's been a few minutes or something like that since the beans has been cooking on nice and slow. Yeah, check it out, nice and creamy. Yeah, that's what we want to see right here. Just perfect. All we're gonna do now, just turn this off since you know we're done cooking the beans. Since, you know, it's been on for about 3 hours though. So move the beans away from the heat or something like that. Yeah. And I'm gonna get to the beans in the jiff. Hey guys, I'm back. Once you got the beans away from the heat, and Eureka, the beans are nice and done. Yeah. Like I said though, I'm the master though when it comes to beans though. You have to scrape this up. Yeah. Just perfect. And I'm gonna give me a bowl out since I should have cooked the rice and stuff. Well, I'm gonna, you know, start cooking the rice once the beans is cooling off for a bit. All right. Once your rice is done and the beans cooled a little, all we're gonna do now, just pour some beans onto the rice, since you know that's how I like my beans. Beans over rice. You know, pretty much reminds me of red beans rice, but even though it's pinto beans. You feel me? Yeah. And here it is, voila. Pinto beans from scratch, you know? Pinto beans. And I'm gonna get settled before I get tasted. Before I taste the beans. Alright, once you got your pinto beans into the bowl of rice, so let's get them taste that's yummy and all nice and creamy. Yeah. So let's get them a try in 3, 2, 1. Whew, I can feel it. Oh man, the pinto beans that I made is so good. Plus, I'm gonna put my foot on this. Like I said though, perfect though. No crunchiness of the beans, just perfect, and mostly soft though. Yeah. And I'm gonna get through my beans in a jiff. Hey, I'm back. So the pinto beans that I had is super good and amazing. A lot of flavor, this and that, but it really paid off though. Yeah. Check it out. Bowl of beans, umami, pinto ones. And check out the rest of those pinto beans. Yummy is to die for. The sausage, the seasons right here is totally perfect though, you know? Just cool. And that's all for this video of pinto beans that I made, just homemade. Yeah, instead of a can. Well, YouTube, if you're new to the channel, please give a like, share, and subscribe. And also hit the notification bell if you get a chance. And it's been the boy, G Miles. Peace. I hope you enjoyed the pinto bean video. Peace.